Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And here with me today, I have a diamond in the rough. I'd like you guys to meet. This here is Mason Miller. He is an offensive tackle out of North Dakota State University. Nice to have you today, sir.
Thanks for having me, Jimmy. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Obviously, always great to sit down with one of these national championship Bison guys, where obviously you guys, I don't know, man. It's almost like you guys exude excellence and continue to produce these great offensive linemen, which obviously, you're one of them this season. So, Mason, go ahead and introduce yourself and let's get going.
Yep. Obviously, like you said, Mason Miller. I'm from Ada, Minnesota. Went to Ada Borup High School, small town, northwestern Minnesota. Um, graduated from there. And then I went to NDSU, played there for 5 years. And I'm currently down in the cities or Twin Cities in Minnesota doing some draft combine prep training.
Awesome. So, Mason, obviously, you want to go back and just sort of, fill in the blanks a little bit there of you in your early development as a player. And I kind of want to start at the beginning. So, let me know how long you've played this game, man. How far back does it go?
I think I started playing in fifth or sixth grade, just whatever elementary school football. So, yeah.
So, were you always on the offensive line? I mean, you swap back and forth a little bit. I mean, typically a lot of guys play both ways, growing up. But talk about your, early days as a player.
Yeah, so we were actually nine-man football when I first started playing football, and I started my career as a center, but I ended up snapping the ball too hard for our quarterback to handle, so they had to kick me out to tight end, and I kind of stuck there up until really the end of my high school career before I moved to offensive line strictly at NDSU. Small school, played nine-man up until my sophomore year, and then we switched to 11-man. Played tight end, obviously, on offense, and then I was a middle linebacker early on, and then I ended up playing D end for most of my high school career.
Interesting. So, I kind of like that you have some experience at tight end. I know that doesn't apply too much these days because it's not like they're throwing you the ball. But I mean, more often than not, I love seeing guys that are tight ends, move to tackle because it shows that they have some, mobility, as an athlete. And so the other thing that I was obviously able to, find for you when I was doing some research is you did some basketball and also did some track and field during your time there and at Ada Borup High School. Any other, I don't know, fond memories you want to talk about with your time there at Ada Borup?
Yeah, I mean, I think we only lost 10 games in my entire career for basketball. So obviously, been a part of a winning culture for a long, long time. We ended up making it to the state tournament my junior year, so that was a pretty fond memory. Track and field ended up making it to state true team two or three times, and then individually once before COVID ended my senior year. But yeah, those were just a lot of time on the bus. I mean, average travel in northwestern Minnesota is about an hour, so you get a lot of time on the bus to hang out with your friends and have a good time.
Yeah, a fairly decent thrower in track and field through the shot put and discus. I would probably say your shot put's a little bit better than your discus, but it's fair enough. 51.6 more or less is what I was able to find on you. So
Yep.
a lot of times when I look at things like that, bro, it's just sheer raw power.
Yeah,
I don't know
a lot of
how
technique.
much
So
I don't know how much technique is into it in the early days in high school, but certainly we're looking at a guy with a lot coming into the college scene. Was it always going to be NDSU, man? I mean, when you were being recruited, like who else was out there as a possibility for you to maybe go to college for?
right, NDSU was my first offer. They're about an hour from where I grew up, and I
Nice.
had that feeling that NDSU. It's just such a special place. I mean, you see all the winning culture and all the championships growing up, and you're like, wow, that's. I mean, it truly is a special place. So I got that offer, and in the back of my head, I was like, "Well, it doesn't really matter where else I get an offer from. I'm going to go there." But I kind of wanted to entertain the idea of being recruited a little bit and just kind of see what was out there for me. I ended up, all the I-29 schools I got offers from, so UND, NDSU, SCSU, USD, and then I was also being recruited by Iowa and Minnesota a little bit. Never ended up getting an offer from there, but really cool to go. You see those facilities and take all that in.
Yeah, but I mean, as we've mentioned, dude, going to NDSU has to be a ride. I mean, you're there, you're part of a winning culture that is always in the national title picture. The history of players coming out of there is just great, especially at the offensive lineman position. And so, as you see that culture there developing, a lot of people around you, feeding in you and feeding you and helping you develop early on. Talk about those guys around you on the offensive line.
Right. I mean, just a wealth of knowledge from top to bottom. You start with guys like that. I mean, really started the tradition. Paul Cornick, Billy Turner, Joe Haig, all these guys feeding into the success that we have now. I mean, I started my career. I played with Dylan Radens, Cordell Volson, Nash Jensen, Jake Kubis, Jalen Sundell, Cody Malk. I mean, all guys that have had success in the NFL, and to even continue my career with Gray Zabel has been phenomenal. So just to learn from those guys and to continue to push the chapter, the success that the O line at NDSU has been a privilege.
So let's now look at you as a prospect in this year's draft. I mean, obviously, wanting to separate yourself. From what I gather, most of your starts have been at right tackle, but you've kind of played a little bit of everywhere. Can you walk through some of your experience and just describe your overall style of play?
Yeah, I'm just a tough nose kid. That's kind of what I pride myself on. Sometimes technique might not be great, but I'm gonna outwork you, out effort you every single time. Um, yeah, I've played, across the board. My willingness to do what's needed of me. I've taken snaps at left tackle, left guard, right tackle. I mean, just whatever to get the job done and continue the success of the team.
Great. And so, I mean, relatively decent size that could potentially play almost anywhere. I mean, we're looking at a guy, what, like 6'6" or
Yep.
more, what is it, 310, something, somewhere.
Yes, somewhere around there. Yep, kind of float around that.
So, yeah, I mean, that's not going to necessarily limit you too much. I mean, I know sometimes people are always wanting like the ideal length at the position, which what you have is fine. I mean, it is, it is what it is, of course. But, dude, you have a lot of great experience on that offensive line, being a part of a lot of great success. Kind of want to talk about some of this, of course, especially this past season. Obviously, you guys ended up hoisting the trophy at
Right.
the very end of things. But you along the way had your own fair share of acknowledgments and accolades through these seasons. So was a first team All American, first team All Conference, of course. And the one thing that I wanted to talk about even more in depth was you were actually named Offensive Lineman of the Week for 1 week. I believe it was against Missouri State
Yep.
where you guys had two 100-yard rushers in the backfield. Can you talk about that game a bit?
Yeah, I mean, it was senior night. I was pretty emotional. I mean, going out there, being so close to home, I had a lot of family there, and just having that support was kind of overwhelming for me. And I just wanted to go out and leave it all on the field, that especially that day, and that it was could be my last game in the dome. Just ended up having a really, really successful game. And, I think a lot of it attests to our coach and Gray Zabel. Gray got offensive lineman in the week a couple weeks before I did. And, I didn't want to let him have that over me. So, yeah, I just went out and performed, and, stars aligned, and was awarded that. And it was pretty cool deal.
So, dude, obviously, having two 100-yard running backs during that game, pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great talent coming back next season, even though we see a lot of guys like you and Zabel and the quarterback leaving. How is this team going to continue to retool and how's it going to look next season?
That's the thing. I don't know if you know who Jocko Williams is, but we talk about reset and reload all the time. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's never mattered about who's there, who leaves. It's about the guys that are pushing for that next successor to be that next guy. And you watch, and I saw a clip today on Twitter about the guys running, and it's like, well, there's got a lot of guys out there pushing themselves and pushing each other, and it's always been a player led program, and it's what it's going to continue to do. So
Yeah, and I don't know who's going to be under the helm next season. Obviously, have a great wide receiver out there, and two young studs of running backs. Man, it might end up being a shift in the offense where you might actually see two 1,000-yard backs. You think NDSU could ride with that next year?
I think they can do what they want. I mean, they're going to have a lot of success. I mean, Barika and Marty are just two unbelievable. They're two unbelievable people. So to see that Marty got the Jerry Rice Award, which is really really cool to say that you blocked for a Jerry Rice Award winner, and Barika was right there, right next to him. I mean, he almost hit 1,000, and he's cheering Marty along the entire way. So it was a lot of fun to be a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be fun. I do want to kind of go back to the finale of the year for you. Obviously, hoisting the trophy once again. Great moments, of course, throughout your history there. Winning national championships. Um, Walk me through that moment where you're winning the national championship for the last time.
I mean, it was honestly just a sense of relief. I mean, we ended up having to punt the ball. They didn't have anybody back there to return it. Just watching the seconds tick down. I mean, fireworks went off, and I think I blacked out there for a little bit. I mean, it was just such an overwhelming feeling of joy and just sharing that love with one another. I mean, we worked very very hard to get to that moment, and to celebrate that was truly special.
Yeah, I mean, I think there for a little bit, people were maybe perhaps doubting you guys, but bro, out the gate this season, like you're playing against Colorado, you stand toe to toe with them, almost coming out with a victory with that one. But even as the season developed, I mean, you guys beat South Dakota State twice,
Mm-hmm.
which is certainly something to be proud of. And then of course ending it in style there at the very end. It had to be great. So obviously finished up your time there at NDSU, and then afterwards you go down to Fort Worth, Texas, and you participate in the College Gridiron Showcase. Not too much of a turnaround because I know
Yep.
you had to get down there. Talk about your experience down there in Texas.
Yeah, so actually, right after we won the national, I just ended up staying down there for a couple of days. I mean, it would have taken way more time to fly there, fly back, or fly to Fargo, fly back. So I got a hotel room and ended up staying down there. Kept all my gear. Ended up doing a couple loads there. My mom actually stayed down with me and helped me do some laundry, so that was very nice of her. But yeah, it was a very cool experience. The CGS was. I mean, I got such great exposure there. I mean, I think it's really going to help me in this entire process. Like we were talking earlier, and it's maybe a little bit underrated game, and just to be able to go out there and showcase in front of so many scouts was truly outstanding. And I mean, it's a great opportunity for anybody to take advantage of.
Yeah, I mean, CGS is a fairly decent event. I mean, they have quality talent there each and every season, and they occasionally get some guys drafted. So, I mean, you could see yourself drafted. Maybe there on somewhere on the third day, people are talking. Maybe we can add this guy to the mix. Has the whole draft thing set in yet, man? I mean, you as an NFL draft pick, you ready for this?
I mean, right now I haven't completely thought about that. Right now I'm staying locked into this technique and form. I mean, it's like I know how to run, but I mean, it's just so minute details. I mean, we're talking about tenths of seconds determining whether you're a fast runner or not. So, I mean, just really trying to lock into that and, take these punches as they come.
Gotcha. I know you had mentioned it earlier, but can you mention it once again, like where you're training right now as you're preparing for your pro day?
Yep, I'm at Training House in Eagan, Minnesota. So it's a little suburb just south of St. Paul, Minnesota.
Gotcha. How's this pro day going to work, man? Is there one drill in particular that you're most proud of that you're going to be able to go out there and deliver, or what?
I think I've improved a lot on my L drill. So, I mean, that's kind of the one that I've been progressively getting better at, and that time is starting to come down quite a bit. So that's the one I think I'm probably going to have the most success with. And then yeah, after that, I don't know. I still got a lot of work to do, but
Yeah, I mean it's kind of awkward though because you don't often see these, larger athletes doing that like in a real game time like situation. Like, how in the world does this apply? I mean, I know it applies somewhat, but I mean, it isn't something that you would do regularly out there as a football player. Trying to get tight, get around these cones. I know it's challenging. I don't know.
yeah,
Um,
it's hard to sometimes it's hard to bend like that, but
yeah, that's just not something that you do naturally out there.
no.
I know also that you are a well experienced offensive lineman, playing tackle, playing guard, but I know you're also practicing center a little bit more. Can you talk
Yep.
about that to some length?
Yeah, I ended up taking a couple. I mean, I'd never taken a snap in a game or in a one-on-one, anything like that. And then down at CGS, they asked if I could hop in at center and give it a try, and I was like, sure, I'll do whatever. And I ended up having two fairly successful reps. And I was talking with one of the scouts, and I mean, really, what it comes down to is the best abilities availability. So just working that into my repertoire, just being able to have that. So if my number gets called to go in there, do whatever, that's another reason they don't cut me. So
Exactly. I mean, I definitely see you as a guy who could play multiple positions. I do feel like that does separate you somewhat for some other people. I think it would be interesting to see you maybe at center more. I think that there are some teams out there that might see you as such, but bro, I know you interviewed with half of the NFL while you were at the CGS, and probably going to talk to the other half at your pro day. So, when is that pro day, by the way?
March 27th.
So, March 27th. You got about a month.
Yep. Yep. Got a month to keep preparing. So
Cool, cool. Well, Mason, obviously, we've talked about you as a football player. Kind of want to get a chance to meet the guy under the helmet and take some time to do that. So, talk about yourself just a little bit, man. Anything that you're into, any hobbies or fun facts, or bro, if you got any special talents or something,
not
talk
not
about.
not too talented, I guess. But I enjoy hunting and fishing, and that's kind of what me and my some of my teammates would do on Sundays, our off day. We'd go out there and go hunting quite a bit, and it's just a good time to kick basically kick your feet up and relax. I mean, it's work, but it's relaxing. But I'd say probably my number one. I really enjoy farming. Didn't grow up on a farm, but I grew up 3 miles out of town working for my neighbors since I was, shoot, 10, 11, 12 years old, going over there, mowing grass, sweeping the shed, whatever. Just kind of fell in love with it. And man, it's addicting. It gets into your blood and you just absolutely love it. So
All right, so maybe perhaps along those lines, I don't know, but do you have any pets?
any pets? Yes, I have a dog. He is a black lab Chesapeake mix. So
All right. Is that is he used as a hunting dog or what?
well, he's a little gun shy, so we can't use him as a hunting dog. But he's more of a companion animal for my dad at this point. But
All right, fair enough. I mean,
yep,
there's only so many breeds that you can take, for hunting dogs, of course. So, but I don't know. I just figured I'd go ahead and ask that question. So,
it'd be awesome if
um,
he was, but yeah, just not quite there. So
no, it's all good. Mason, I want to see if I could throw some fun questions your way. some completely non-football related stuff.
Yep.
Um, so let me see here. Obviously a bit of an outdoors guy, so this may not apply to you so much, but is there, I don't know, maybe like a TV show or something that you recommend I binge watch? Like, are you into anything in particular or what?
Yeah. So actually, my favorite TV show of all time is Longmire. I don't know if you've ever heard of it or watched it, but it's kind of a cowboy crime show. It's based out in Wyoming. I can't remember what the main actor's name is, but it's Walt Longmire, and it's basically like a NCIS but cowboy style, I guess. And I really enjoy that. I just started watching Jack Reacher, so that's been pretty good. It's a good show.
All right, cool, cool. Hey, I'm a lot older than you, so I mean, I'm thinking more so Walker, Texas Ranger. So that's a little different,
Yep,
era,
not
of
it doesn't quite
course.
have the moves of Chuck Norris, but
No, no, it's all good. Let me see here if I can find some more things. Let's see. Uh, how many brothers sisters you got? You have a big family or what?
yep, I've just got one younger sister. She's almost 20, so yep, turned 20 in April. She's education major at MSUM, so Morehead State University, Minnesota. So right across the river from Fargo. She stayed close and was able to go out to supper with her every once in a while and see her quite a bit. So
Gotcha. As a football player, do you have any maybe superstitions or pregame rituals that you see yourself doing or what?
I try not to because I think sometimes you can throw yourself out of a game if you get too much into it. But I did. There's one song I always listen to before every game, and it was "Bullets in the Gun" by Toby Keith. So
All right. So big country fan then I
yeah,
take it.
yep. Big. I mean, Toby Keith is just a legend. So
Gotcha. So I mean, is if there was karaoke, we're probably, singing some Toby Keith. Is that
we're
what you're
singing
telling
we're
me?
singing Toby Keith. We are 100% singing Toby Keith.
All right. Obviously, man, I mean, I know, a lot of NDSU guys, end up, making it to the league. I'm assuming you're following them even more so as a fan these days.
Mm-hmm.
Are there perhaps other guys at the NFL level that you, I don't know, try and watch their film and, bring some of their game to your own or what?
Right. I think obviously Lane Johnson is. I mean, he's a stellar tackle, but Spencer Brown from the Bills is kind of who I've been watching quite a bit, just at that right tackle position. And I mean, he's improved so much over the last couple of years. He's a Northern Iowa guy, University of Northern Iowa, so FCS guy as well. And to see him have that success and try to play like him is a goal.
Cool. That's kind of odd giving a you and I guy some
Yeah,
love.
it
That's got to
is.
feel
But
awkward.
he's a very successful football player, and it's you got to have those guys you watch. So
No, you're good. I'm just teasing you.
it is. Hopefully none of the NDSU guys see that. But
Yeah, well, let's just move on then. Obviously, man, we're coming to a time here where we're going to be wrapping up very soon. I mean, I know a lot of scouts out there. They've watched you several times over, of course, because you guys are always, in the limelight. And so, what do you feel you have going for you as a prospect? Kind of close us with some of these thoughts as to maybe a guy who could be drafted this upcoming season. We got a couple of months, of course, until the NFL draft, but close with your final thoughts before we wrap things up.
yeah, I'd say something that stands out to me when I'm watching my film is I'm just a guy that always finishes, and I do it relentlessly. I mean, that is something that was instilled in me, and I think I take very very good or a lot of pride in it. Just being able to finish and be relentless and go chase after the ball. I actually had a fumble recovery this year, so finishing around I think that speaks a lot to an offensive lineman. Just having that desire and that want to finish, and technique. You might win a rep, you might lose a rep, but having that ability to finish and be that guy that's accountable. Being around the football is really something that I do pride myself on.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously looking at a guy who's very experienced, of course, with the offensive lineman position. Occasionally, guys will fight injured.
Mhm.
That's just the nature of the beast, of course. I mean, you got to, keep on going and just grind it out.
Yep.
Obviously, part of a great program, walking away, again as national champion, and then, of course, putting yourself in a position where we're going to see you in the NFL here very soon. So, Mason, want to just wish you all the best as you move forward. Okay,
All right. Thank you very much.
sure thing. Once again, I got with me Mason Miller, offensive tackle out of North Dakota State. Check him out.